What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another Xander Wolf Gaming production. I'm your host with the most, Xander of the Wolves, and today we'll be going over the September 25th patch notes for Borderlands 4. Now, this is going to be a longer video than I did the last time, and that's okay. That's because they put a lot more stuff out. Last week's was a small patch. This is going to be a 5 gig update, so hopefully we fix some things that we really need to get done. Starting with the things that we should already know and expect for every patch and update going forward is that the weekly Big Encore boss, the weekly wild card, and Maurice's Black Market have all changed either locations or which bosses that they're affecting. As for stability and performance, they've made a bunch of different increases to the performance itself. They've addressed various instances of hitching, low FPS, and crashes. They're going to continue to investigate and make further improvements, as they should. They've updated character animations for performance improvements. Graphics presets could be set to high or very high when using auto run detect in visual menu. For Xbox specifically, they corrected an issue where players would get a black screen after the vault symbol loading screen. That's terrifying, but I'm glad it's fixed. Didn't run into that myself, but hey, some people weren't as lucky. Addressed a rare issue of infinite loading screens during crossplay. Also, not something I had to deal with, but glad that's fixed. And then improved the loading of characters and menus to reduce visible delays when entering character select. Awesome. All of those bugs would be incredibly frustrating. I'm glad that they are fixed and they are working on more. Moving on to the rewards and progressions. They've addressed reported issues where players could lose or be rewarded unintended extra skill points in multiplayer. Sounds like some people were abusing that. Some people were definitely getting hurt by it, and it's fixed in general, which is good. Addressed an issue that could prevent contract target enemies from consistently spawning. That's annoying. Updated Rep Kit Lifesteal challenge to track lifesteal from any source. Very nice. This way you don't just have to use Rep Kit Lifesteal to get that. Prevented region discovery trophies and achievements from unlocking before discovering all areas. Very good. I actually have somebody who had an issue with that, so glad that's fixed. They also prevented instances of unowned DLC content appearing in chests or in menus. Good, because if you paid for the content, you should get the content. If you didn't pay for the content, don't worry about it. It's not that important. But people really shouldn't be getting things they hadn't paid for. Improved clarity of DLC related warnings and reward availability. Addressed a reported issue where the reward center would stop working after claiming the Gilded Glory pack rewards. And then Reward Center pop-up now correctly excludes area claimed cosmetics. Very nice. This is why you're not just getting the cosmetics you've already gotten over and over when helping your friends out. They reduced sell prices on Gilded Glory pack gear and vending machines, so you don't need to sell it for quick cash, and then updated break free pack reward bundle to redeem properly in all instances, which is fantastic. Challenge timing has been updated so players can properly progress from Ultimate Vault Hunter 4 to Ultimate Vault Hunter 5 after completing the required wildcard missions. When ranking up in multiplayer, players that are not the host will not see the change in their UVH level, but will be able to switch to higher level. This will be addressed in an upcoming update. What that sounds like is that they're still going to get the level, they just won't get like a screen that says they got the level. Be on lookout for that, especially for those of you who are trying to work together in getting to UVH 5. And then they updated class mods to prevent them from dropping with incorrect skill points. I'm not sure what that means. It could be skill points for other classes. It could be skill points in the wrong thing or the wrong amount of skill points. I'm not sure. They don't go further on that. It's just with the incorrect skill points. Worries me. But we're fine. Now let's go into the individual Vault Hunter changes, because there's a lot that's been going on. First, we've got Harlow the Gravatar. Gravatar Ground State Capstone has been corrected to remove inaccurate verbiage about enemies taking reduced damage when they do not. Gravatar Flux Generator no longer heals enemies with Potential Transference Capstone. Updated Gravatar Accretion passive to consistently grant lifesteal to allies. Addressed various report issues with Gravatar Unstable Energy Pocket created from Chroma Accelerator action skill. It includes instances where it would not disappear properly, convert to cryo damage, or split as intended with certain skill tree combinations. Skills that saw updates: Special Purpose Magnets Augment, the Shattering Light Capstone, QED passive, Break the Ice passive, Containment Breach Augment, and Eureka! Going into Vex the Siren, addressed a reported issue with Siren Grave Harvest Augment being triggered while Incarnate is not active. Addressed a reported issue where Siren Blight attunement could occasionally fail to damage the Timekeeper, which is annoying, especially if you're at the end of the game. Damage caused by Siren Spirit Bomb passive now counts properly as companion damage and changes its color to match a tuned element. This is some good updates for Vex. It seems a very light touch on a lot of her things, just a little bit of here and there. Whereas Harlow, they definitely had something go wrong in the back end. A lot of her abilities just weren't meshing well together, and so they just had to do like a hard patch on her because there's a lot there. This is a small editor's note as I'm going through my footage and realizing that I have a really bad habit of referring to Amon as Amon, and I recognize that even in my streams, I still do that wrong. I apologize and forgive the next couple minutes of just pronouncing his name wrong. It is Amon. They say it in the game, they say it everywhere else. I'm just dumb. Thank you. And don't get me started, because once we get into Amon and Rafa, they seem like they didn't need as much work, but Amon's red tree, whew, oh, they screwed something up over there. For Rafa, the Exo Soldier, all they did was address a reported issue preventing the Exo Soldier blowout passive from stacking properly when repeating action skills. And then for Amon, the man, the myth, the legend, his Primal Surge passive now properly restored shield and ammo. The Firewall action skill has been adjusted so Vengeance cannot be stored by Firewall before Scourge is active as intended. The Onslaughter Rocket Punch now connects more reliably with shielded enemies, and then addressed a reported issue with the Forge Knight Forge Axe not consistently seeking out nearby enemies. Light tweaks between Amon and Rafa seems just to be like little buggy things in the background. Again, it seems like they did the most harm to Harlow. Moving on to the next section, we've got gameplay, where they have addressed a reported issue in the overwriting a wrong side mission where nodes would not spawn consistently, addressed a reported issue in the Talk to Zadra mission where the objective could fail if players extended the relaunch mid-dialogue, updated beam hit detection as it was causing beams to not be blocked properly. Example would be the Forge Knight Forge Shield. And then rep kits now consistently consume the correct amount of charges after activating the Forge Knight Scourge. Updated beam hit detection as it was causing beams to not be blocked properly, e.g. Forge Knight Forge Shield. Rep kits now consistently consume the correct amount of charges after activating the Forge Knight Scourge action skill. Prevented Forge Knight from sliding at the end of Molten Slam. Addressed various reported instances of enemies getting stuck, addressed reported desyncing issues observed with lightweight armature enemy movement in multiplayer, and then updated Zadra's lab fast travel unlock to after discovery. Very nice. Moving on to the gear section. Vladov Alting Gun Heavy Weapon Ordnance now properly targets Primordial Guardian Inceptus. Queen's Rest pistols with dataless ammo switcher licensed under barrel now shoot the correct projectiles. Gear with short circuit augment now traces properly towards enemies instead of random directions, and then addressed reported edge cases where interrupting reload could cause ammo desyncs that would prevent ammo from firing. Oh, I think I was having that issue where, because there were a couple of cases where my guns were trying to fire and they just wouldn't do any damage, so they weren't necessarily firing properly. Now for the gear balance changes, Hellwalker now always spawns with fire element. Fantastic, that's the Doom reference. TDR weapons get a 10% damage and 10% magazine size, so damage on damage. Order pistol Lucky Clover increased to fire rate, and then Order Sniper Rifle Fisheye increased damage. Moving on to UI and UX, updated gear thumbnails in cases where they would not display properly and ensured that stand-in thumbnails load properly. Updated various UI visuals for alignment, consistency, and clarity. Adjusted inventory drop-down menus to prevent unintended selected changes. I had a huge issue with this whenever I went to go set things to junk or mass set things to the bank itself, that when I went to go hold X or whatever, it would still have something clicked. And so when I went to go click on junk, it would then swap out my weapon with something else. That's a bug I noticed as well, so we'll see if we still run into that issue. Added D-pad navigation support to the reward center and improved handling of the inventory overflow message. Nice, that's clean. Prevented matchmaking menu hint bar from displaying incorrect prompts when joining another player's game. Very nice. Addressed compass occasionally displaying incorrect location name after teleporting. updated localization and various text descriptions across the game, and added various improvements to compass, custom waypoint placements, and echolocations. So good. The compass that a lot of people I know are complaining about is getting tweaked up, and hopefully it's going to work a little nicer. It's not going to be as confusing, and I'm not going to have to open up the map every 5 seconds to make sure I'm going the right direction, even when the compass itself is not pointing in the right direction. I've had some issues with a couple of the missions themselves, telling me that I got to go this one way, and it turns out I've been going the wrong way for about like 20 meters. Moving on to visuals, they addressed carryable objects disappearing or appearing in the wrong locations after being picked up. Includes cases in Ready to Blow, Lost Capsules, and Hangover Helper missions. Improved triggering of armor segment breaks VFX when shield capacity effects expire. Updated NPC and enemy pathing, addressed VFX concerns with various weapons, vehicles, and elemental states. Various animation updates, various visual updates and improvements, adjusted rift portal effects and corrected visuals, updated Echo 4 to have correct positioning when viewing various menus and to prevent clipping. And then ambient critters have a more natural spawn behavior. So we'll see a lot less of them in the road, hopefully, and then maybe more in the actual wild. Or they're just not going to be clipping into the ground while they're trying to just hop around. Audio. DJs in Carcadia Burn and Fade Fields now play their VO when starting or completing contracts. Adjusted radio music mix for improved audibility. Added missing audio for multiple weapon types, customizations, and menu navigations. Reduced instances of voiceover cutting during missions, which is another big complaint I had. Just the fact that the voiceovers would just stop halfway through, and you have to wait until an undetermined amount of time when they would essentially stop talking to themselves on mute. Now, if only I can get my friend Alex to stop being on mute while we're on Discord, life would be good. Updated startup movie to have correct audio. Oh, fantastic, because you don't want to just start a new game and have the incorrect audio. That would just be annoying. Settings and accessibility. Xbox and PlayStation now have the field of view slider enabled. Note, increasing the FOV past the default could cause some dips in performance, so a heads up to those, maybe even on the older consoles or the newer consoles. Just note that if you mess with the field of view, it's probably going to make some things be a little wonky, but it's up to you. Play your game how you want. Vehicle field of view settings will now be changed for both users when playing split screen. Also very nice. Miscellaneous. Addressed reported instances of incorrect or deleted characters appearing in menu or lobbies. They enabled tab keys in Shift UI. Added haptic feedback for controllers to Exo Soldier. Unmissable missile or augment. And then updated credits listing. To me, that last little one, that were updated credits listing, that tells me that they brought some extra people on to help fix this problem, because it seems like they had a lot of problems. We all know what's going on in the background. We all know the complaints, the arguments, the crash outs. The game launch hasn't been pretty. The game itself has had enough bugs to where, at the very least, I've got friends who just won't stop complaining about it. Me, I see potential in this game. I see the things that it can give us, and if this update gives me enough smooth playability, then I look forward to seeing what more updates they intend to give us, even before the DLCs come out and crash more problems. What I would like to see is that this game end up becoming my favorite Borderlands. That's what I want. I want this game to succeed to the point to where we can all enjoy ourselves and enjoy being Vault Hunters to a new degree, with a new set of audience, with a new set of Vault Hunters. Like, give me what I'm looking for, right? It's what I invested in the game for. It's why I'm playing it for everyone here. Let's make this game fantastic to play. All right? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and let's get some debates going on, right? What's your favorite part about the game so far? What are you expecting them to fix, or what issues are you still having in your game itself? At the very least, we can at least tell 2K and Gearbox that they need to fix their shit. Anywho, fuck these bitches. I'm out. Which is great. Again, it seems like even though they didn't do a whole lot of tweaks for Amon, there's a lot of things in the background that were affecting a lot of characters, like Amon's skills. Amon. God, I don't know if I've been messing that up the entire time. Shoot. We'll cut that whole out.